The Galactic Council chamber on Tyrallus Prime thrummed with tension, the air thick with desperation. The circular hall, carved from the iridescent stone of a long-dead world, flickered with holograms of delegates from across the galaxy. Each projection shimmered with vibrant colors unique to their species, furred, scaled, feathered, and chitinous faces all etched with the same mix of frustration and despair. At the center of the room, Kaler of the Itrian delegation rose, his serpentine form uncoiling to its full height. His voice, a low, resonant hiss, cut through the cacophony. If we do not act decisively, the Zenith Dominion will crush the remnants of our alliance before the next cycle. Surrender or fight to extinction. Those are the choices before us. A chorus of objections erupted. We've already lost 8 fleets, boomed the Erlen ambassador, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the chamber's light. There's nothing left to give. The Zenith are machines, snarled the diminutive Volt delegate. Our organic forces cannot match their precision or numbers. Kaler's golden eyes narrowed. There is one species we have yet to call upon, one that has been absent for centuries. The room fell silent. You speak of the humans, whispered an avian-like Corvian envoy, her wings fluttering nervously. They are a gamble we cannot afford. Unpredictable, violent. Kaler inclined his head, his tone measured. Unpredictable, yes, but that is their strength. They are the only species to have brought themselves to the brink of annihilation and survived. Their history is one of adaptation, endurance, and ingenuity. Do we dare ignore that potential now, when we face our end? A low murmur rippled through the chamber. It was true that humanity had once been a rising power in the galaxy, but after a devastating internal war, they had retreated to their home system, severing all ties with the wider galactic community. Most assumed they were extinct or irrelevant. A hulking, insectoid representative from the score clicked its mandibles. Even if they still live, what makes you believe they will fight for us? They owe us nothing. Kaler's gaze swept the chamber. If the Zenith destroy us, they will not stop. They will expand, consume, and evolve. Eventually, they will reach Earth. Humanity's isolation will not protect them. The room fell into a heavy silence, broken only by the faint hum of holographic projectors. The chairperson of the council, an aged Lemurian with a luminous, translucent form, raised her slender hand. A motion, then, shall we extend an envoy to Earth and plead for humanity's aid? Kaler straightened, his coiled tail twitching with anticipation. It is our only chance. The vote was cast, and the results illuminated the chamber, a slim majority in favor. Hours later, Kaler stood alone in the council hall. The holographic displays dimmed. His thoughts churned. Humanity was not a simple solution. They were a gamble that could destroy the fragile unity of the coalition. But Kaler had studied their history, their wars, their triumphs. They were a species that thrived under pressure, a paradox of destruction and creation. He was interrupted by the soft flutter of wings. The Corvian envoy, LYSS, approached, her sharp eyes fixed on him. You've placed much faith in a species most here consider myth. Are you certain? No, Kaler admitted, but certainty is a luxury we cannot afford. LYSS hesitated, her feathers ruffling. The humans, if they choose to fight, they will not fight like us. They will fight to win, no matter the cost. Kaler nodded, and perhaps that is exactly what we need. The following day, the Coalition's fastest diplomatic vessel was dispatched to Earth, its destination a world long shrouded in silence and mystery. As it vanished into hyperspace, the council chamber buzzed with renewed tension. For some, hope stirred, a fragile ember in the darkness. For others, fear gnawed at their resolve. Humanity was no savior. They were a storm waiting to be unleashed. And when the storm came, no species would ever forget the moment humans entered the war. The diplomatic vessel emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its sleek frame gleaming against the backdrop of stars. Ahead lay Earth, a blue and green jewel encased in the protective lattice of its orbital defenses. The emissaries aboard the ship exchanged uneasy glances. Kaler, coiled in the observation chamber, gazed at the planet below. Earth was alive with activity. Its atmosphere rippled with energy signatures, and swarms of drones patrolled the orbital stations like vigilant sentinels. For a species long thought to be dormant, humanity's homeworld bristled with quiet strength. The ship's comms crackled, breaking the silence. Unidentified vessel, you have entered sovereign Terran space. State your purpose immediately. Kaler stepped forward, his voice steady. This is Ambassador Kaler of the Itrian delegation, representing the Galactic Coalition. We come in peace and seek an audience with your leaders. Our galaxy faces extinction, and we require humanity's aid. There was a long pause before the reply came. Message received. Stand by for escort. Moments later, a formation of Terran ships, sleek and angular, surrounded the vessel. Their movements were precise, their weaponry unmistakably advanced. As they guided the emissaries toward the planet's surface, Kaler's unease deepened. These humans were not the fractured, war-weary people described in galactic records. The emissaries were ushered into the heart of Terran governance, a massive citadel of black steel and glass towering over a sprawling city. The air within hummed with energy, a mixture of human ingenuity and artificial intelligence, seamlessly integrated into every surface. Commander Arya Voss stood waiting in the grand chamber. Her presence was commanding, tall, with a sharp gaze that seemed to pierce through pretense. Her uniform was devoid of ornamentation, a testament to her practicality. She was flanked by a small council of advisors, each radiating quiet authority. Kaler inclined his head respectfully. Commander Voss, I am honored to stand before you. We bring dire news. Arya's expression was unreadable as she gestured for them to proceed. Kaler outlined the Zenith Dominion's relentless campaign, describing the devastation wrought across the galaxy. He spoke of the Coalition's crumbling defenses and the Zenith's terrifying adaptability. Your people, Commander, are our last hope. Your ingenuity, your strength. Without them, the galaxy is lost. When he finished, silence fell over the chamber. Arya's gaze swept across the emissaries, her sharp features betraying no emotion. Your desperation is evident, she said finally, her voice steady. But tell me, why now? For centuries, humanity has been ignored, dismissed, even feared by your coalition. And now, when extinction looms, you come to us? The Corvian envoy, LYSS, stepped forward. Commander, we acknowledge the failings of the past, but this is not about old grievances. The Zenith Dominion will not stop with us. They will come for Earth, and when they do, your isolation will not protect you. Arya's eyes narrowed. And you believe that by aiding you now, we can prevent that inevitability? Kaler interjected. We believe that with your help, we can stop them before they reach that point. Humanity has always thrived under impossible circumstances. Your strategies, your technology, they could turn the tide. Arya exchanged glances with her advisors before turning back to the emissaries. We will consider your request. You will have your answer soon. Later, in a secure chamber deep within the Citadel, Arya convened with her council. Holographic displays projected detailed reports of the Zenith Dominion and the Coalition's grim situation. This is a risk, said Admiral Kell, his scarred visage a testament to humanity's own brutal conflicts. We've spent centuries rebuilding, staying out of galactic affairs. Involving ourselves now could undo everything. Dr. Elena Strass, a lead scientist, leaned forward. The Zenith Dominion is unlike anything we've faced. Their adaptability could rival our AI, but their methods are predictable, rigid. With the right strategies, we might stand a chance. Arya's fingers drummed against the table as she considered their words. And if we refuse, the Zenith will eventually find their way here. Do we wait until they are at our doorstep, or do we take the fight to them now? Kell hesitated. If we do this, It will cost us lives, resources, perhaps our very humanity. Arya's gaze hardened. It will cost us more if we do nothing. The following day, Arya summoned the emissaries once more. We have made our decision, she began, her tone resolute. Humanity will fight. But understand this. We will fight on our terms. We do not answer to your coalition. We will determine the scope of our involvement and the methods we employ. Agreed. Kaler's relief was palpable. Agreed, Commander. On behalf of the coalition, we are grateful beyond measure. Arya stepped closer, her eyes locking with Kaler's. Do not mistake this for altruism, Ambassador. We fight because we must, because survival demands it. Pray that when this is over, the galaxy remembers us as allies and not something else entirely. As the emissaries departed, the weight of humanity's choice settled over the Citadel. Earth's engines of war roared to life, factories churning out weapons of unimaginable power. Humanity had awakened, and the galaxy would soon learn the true cost of their resolve. In the quiet of her private quarters, Arya stared out at the bustling cityscape, her thoughts turbulent. The path ahead was uncertain, but one truth remained. Humanity would not stand idle as the galaxy burned. The Zenith Dominion descended on Arion Nebula, a pivotal stronghold for the Galactic Coalition. The Coalition fleet, a patchwork of ships from dozens of species, hung in formation against a backdrop of swirling blue gas clouds. Scarred and weary, the vessels bore the marks of too many defeats. Kaler watched from the bridge of the Eternal Resolve, his serpentine form coiled tightly. The Zenith fleet approached with terrifying precision, sleek, obsidian warships bristling with adaptive weaponry. Each time they attacked, they learned, evolved, and dismantled the coalition strategies. The battle seemed over before it had begun. Incoming transmission from the flagship, said an Itrian officer, his scales dull with fatigue. The holographic display flickered, and the Erland commander's crystalline face appeared. Prepare for a defensive retreat. We cannot hold this position. Kaler clenched his jaw, frustration seething beneath his composed exterior. He opened his mouth to reply, but froze as a new signal cut across the comms. This is Commander Arya Voss of the Terran Fleet. We are en route. Hold your ground. Kaler's golden eyes widened. Humanity had arrived. Moments later, the void of space rippled as hundreds of Terran warships emerged from hyperspace. The coalition forces, battered and broken, stared in disbelief. The Terran fleet was unlike anything they had seen, sleek, matte black vessels with jagged, angular designs. Their silhouettes exuded menace, their weapon systems glowing with an eerie blue light. At the forefront was Earth's flagship, the Indomitable Will, an immense dreadnought bristling with experimental weaponry. On its bridge, Commander Arya Voss stood poised, her sharp eyes fixed on the Zenith formation ahead. Status report, Arya commanded. Zenith forces outnumber us 3-1, replied Admiral Kell, his voice calm but edged with tension. Their adaptive algorithms are likely analyzing us already. Arya's lips curved into a faint smile. Let them analyze. We'll give them more than they can handle. The battle began with a ferocity that caught even the Zenith off guard. Humanity's fleet moved as one, their tactics guided by an AI hive intelligence known as Aegis. Every maneuver, every strike was calculated, synchronized, and executed with ruthless precision. The coalition forces, inspired by the humans' arrival, rallied and joined the fray. Yet even among their allies, humanity's methods were starkly different. Where coalition ships relied on conventional energy weapons, the Terran fleet deployed experimental technology, kinetic bombardments that shattered Zenith hulls, electromagnetic pulses that disrupted their adaptive algorithms, and autonomous drones that swarmed like locusts, overwhelming enemy defenses. Kaler watched in awe as a single Terran cruiser, the Harbinger, plunged into the heart of the Zenith fleet. Its hull shimmered with a reactive energy field, absorbing and redirecting enemy fire. In one devastating sweep, It unleashed a barrage of projectiles that tore through Zenith warships like paper. "They're relentless," LYSS murmured, her feathers quivering as she observed the carnage. Kaler nodded. "They fight as though the universe itself depends on it." On the bridge of the Indomitable Will, Arya coordinated the assault with an unyielding focus. The Zenith fleet began to falter, their vaunted adaptability struggling to keep pace with humanity's chaotic and unorthodox strategies. "Admiral Kell, deploy the vortex cannons," Arya ordered. The Admiral hesitated for a fraction of a second. "Commander, those weapons are untested in live combat." Arya's gaze hardened. "And so are we. Execute the order." The vortex cannons activated, emitting pulses of gravitational energy that distorted space itself. Zenith's ships were torn apart as the fabric of reality twisted around them. The battlefield became a maelstrom of destruction, humanity's terrifying ingenuity on full display. As the Zenith fleet crumbled, their flagship, a massive, angular vessel pulsating with crimson light, surged forward. It unleashed a beam of energy so powerful that it ripped through Coalition and Terran ships alike, creating a desperate gap in the line. Arya's voice cut through the comms. "All remaining forces, concentrate fire on the Zenith flagship. Do not let it escape. The Indomitable will advance, its weapon systems blazing." The Zenith flagship retaliated with unrelenting ferocity, its adaptive algorithms pushing it to the brink of its capabilities. The two titans clashed, the void around them lighting up with explosions and energy surges. "Critical damage to our forward shields," reported an officer. Arya stood firm. "Hold position. We end this now." With one final coordinated strike, the Terran fleet overwhelmed the Zenith flagship. The massive vessel detonated in a fiery explosion, sending shockwaves rippling through the battlefield. The silence that followed was deafening. The Zenith fleet, leaderless and broken, began to retreat. Cheers erupted across the Coalition comms. But on the Terran ships, Kaler's holographic image appeared on the bridge of the Indomitable Will. "Commander Voss, your intervention has saved us all. Words cannot express our gratitude." Arya met his gaze, her expression unreadable. "The battle is won, Ambassador, but the war is far from over." This was merely the opening act. Humanity does not fight for gratitude. We fight because survival demands it. Kaler inclined his head, a mixture of admiration and unease flickering in his golden eyes. "Then we are fortunate to have you as allies." Arya turned back to the viewport, staring at the debris-strewn void. "Pray that remains true, Ambassador." As the Coalition fleet regrouped, the legend of humanity's arrival spread like wildfire. For the first time, the Zenith Dominion had been dealt a decisive blow. Yet beneath the surface, questions lingered about the cost of humanity's methods and what would happen when the storm they unleashed could no longer be contained. The galaxy would never forget the moment humans entered the war, for better or worse.